Chapter 1. Automated Business Processes. Enterprise business process coordinated and standard set of activities to accomplish specific objectives of an organization set by top management as per their vision and mission. Key guiding factor for vision and mission. The success or failure of an organization is dependent on how business processes have been designed and implemented. Business process management. Systematic approach to improving business process which helps an organization to achieve 3 E's, i.e., efficiency, effectiveness and economy. 24/7 process to ensure improvement in all parameters. Categories. Types of business processes. Vision and mission of top management is achieved by implementing operating, primary processes, core business and value chain, and delivers value directly to customers by providing goods or services or both. Essential business activities. To achieve goals, objectives of business, like generating revenue, e.g. order to cash, O2C, procure to pay, P2P, developing products, manufacturing, marketing, etc. Supporting, secondary processes. Improve efficiency of organization by providing support to business processes and functions. Not provide value to customers directly. Hiring right people for the right job has a direct impact on efficiency of the enterprise, e.g. accounting, HR, IT, legal, workplace safety. Management processes. Monitors, measures and controls activities related to operating processes and supporting processes, e.g. strategic planning, budgeting, infra-capacity management, internal communication, etc. Example representing all categories of business processes. Enterprise information system. Any kind of information system which improves the functions of an enterprise business processes by integration. Technology platform that enable entities to integrate and coordinate their business processes. Collect data from all business processes. A. Manufacturing and production. B. Sales and marketing. C. Finance and accounting. And D. Human resources and personnel, and stores the data in single central data repository. By improving the performance, accuracy and efficiency of the key business processes, the entity is made more efficient and responsive to customer and employee needs. Advantages of using EIS includes a. High quality services and operational efficiency. B. Reduced service cycles, product development cycles and marketing life cycles. C. Increased business productivity and cost savings. D. Increased customer satisfaction. E. Smooth flow of information to proper business processes. F. Better coordination amongst various business processes. Business process automation, removing human intervention. Technology-enabled automation of activities or services to achieve specific function, task, objective. It can be done for different functions like sale, purchase, supply chain management, HR, IT, etc. Use of integrated apps and SW in automating business processes throughout organization. It enables business process to operate effectively and efficiently. Features, objectives, factors affecting success of BPAA. Confidentiality. Data is only available to person who has right to see it. B. Integrity. Ensure that there is no unauthorized change, amendment in data. C. Availability. To ensure that data is available when asked for. D. Timeliness. To ensure that data is available in right time. ensure that above parameters are met, BPA needs to have appropriate internal controls. Advantages, benefits of BPAA. Quality and consistency. Ensures every action is performed identically to provide reliable and consistent experience to stakeholders. B. Time saving. It reduces no of tasks required to perform an activity. This saves time and add value. C. Reduced cost. Simultaneous performance of tasks by using lesser resource, especially labor cost, reduces. D. Reduced turnaround time. Eliminates unnecessary tasks and streamlines BP info flows in better way, resulting E. Improved operating efficiency. Time consumed and cost required to do a task reduces. F. Governance and reliability. Consistency of BP means stakeholders can rely on BP to offer quality service to customer. Which business processes should be automated? Technology is the enabler of BPA, and BPA offers many advantages to the business. Every business process is not a good fit for automation. Companies tend to automate those business processes that are time and resource intensive, or those that are subject to human error. Few examples of processes that are best suited to automation. 1. Processes involving high volume of tasks or repetitive tasks results in reduction of cost and work efforts, e.g. making purchase orders, generating invoices, etc. 2. Processes requiring multiple people to execute tasks results in reduction of waiting time and in costs, e.g., help desk services, tracking of goods, etc. 3. Time-sensitive processes. BPA results in streamlined processes and faster turnaround times. It eliminates wasteful activities and focus on enhancing tasks that add value, e.g., online banking system, railway, aircraft operating and control systems, etc. 4. Processes involving need for compliance and audit trail. Since every detail of a particular process is recorded, these details can be used to demonstrate compliance during audits, e.g., invoice issue to vendors, employee management system, i.e. salary calculations and employee attendance. 5. Processes having significant impact on other processes and systems. Some processes are cross-functional and have significant impact on other processes and systems. E.g., the marketing department may work with sales department. Automating these processes results in easy sharing of information resources and improving the efficiency and effectiveness of business processes. Challenges involved in business process automation. 1. Automating redundant processes. Sometimes organizations start off BPA by automating the processes they find suitable for automation, without considering whether such processes are necessary and create value in other cases. Some business processes and tasks require high amount of tacit knowledge that cannot be documented and transferred from one person to another, and therefore seek employees to use their personal judgment. 2. Defining complex processes. This requires a detailed understanding of the underlying business processes to develop an automated process. 3. Staff resistance. Human factor issues are the main obstacle to the acceptance of automated processes. Staff may see BPA as a way of reducing their decision-making power. Staff may perceive automated processes as threat to their jobs. 4. Implementation cost. The implementation of BPA involves significant costs like acquisition cost of automated systems and special skills required to operate and maintain these systems. BPA Implementation steps. The best way to go about automation is to first understand the criticality of the business process to the enterprise. 1. Define why we plan to implement BPA. Answer to this question provides justification for implementing BPA. List of generic reasons for justifying it may include a. Errors in manual process leading to enhanced cost. B. Payment process not streamlined, leading to duplicate payment. C. Payment for G. Senior supplied not received on time. D. Poor debtor management system leading to more bad debts. E. Poor customer services. F. Delay in furnishing documents during audit. 2. Understand rules, regulations which enterprise needs to comply with. BPA must comply with applicable laws and regulations. It is essential to understand rules, regulations, under which business performs, e.g. books of A, C must be maintained for specified time as per Income Tax Act. 3. Document the process. We want to automate all current processes and documents which are planned to be automated must be correctly and completely documented. Things to be kept in mind are: what docs needs to be captured? B. Where do docs come from? Vendor or accounting software? C. What format are they in? Paper, fax, email or PDF? D. What is the impact of regulations on processing of these documents? E. Can there be a better way to do the same job? Benefits. 1. Provide clarity on process. 2. Helps identify source of inefficiencies, bottlenecks and problems. 3. Allows designing the process to focus on desired results. 4. Define the objectives, goals to be achieved by implementing BPA. Enables the developer and user to understand reason for doing BPA. While determining objectives of BPA, goals should be SMART S right pointing arrow specific, clearly determined M. Right pointing arrow measurable, easily quantifiable in monetary terms. A right pointing arrow attainable, achievable through best result. R right pointing arrow relevant, entity must be in need of BPA. T right pointing arrow timely achieved with a given time frame. Examples. 1. For vendors offering early payment discounts, entity needs to consider how much could be saved if they were taken advantage of, and if the entity has got the cash flow to do so. 2. To determine the average invoice aging per customer, entity can decide to reduce the average from 75 days to 60 days. This alone can dramatically improve cash flow. 3. Engage the BPA consultant. Entity needs to appoint an expert who can implement BPA. Selection depends on a objectivity of consultant in understanding entity's situation. B. Does he have experience with entity BPA? C. Is he experienced in resolving critical issue? D. Can recommend combination of H, W and S, W for BPA and implement it. 4. Calculate ROI for project. It helps in convincing top management to say yes to BPA exercise. Some of the methods for justification of BPA are a. Cost saving, being clearly computed and demonstrated. B. Time saving, how BPA could lead to reduction in required manpower. C. The cost of space regained from paper, file cabinets, etc. is reduced. D. Eliminating fines to be paid for delayed payment and eliminate double payment. E. Taking advantage of early payment. F. Reducing cost of audits and lawsuits. 5. Developing the BPA once Requirements have been documented, ROI is computed and approval of top management obtained. Consultant develop required BPA. 6. Testing the BPA before making the BPA live. BPA should be tested fully to determine how it works. B. Remove all problems. C. Enable improvement before official launch. Testing helps increase user adoption and decreases resistance to change. Final version of process is documented for training of new employees and B. Future reference. Case study refer. Books. There are thousands of processes across the world for which entity have gone for BPA and reaped numerous benefits. These include a. Tracking movement of goods. B. Sales order processing. C. Customer services departments. D. Inventory management. E. Employee management system. And F. Asset tracking systems. Flowchart diagram that describes a process or operation. It includes multiple steps through which the process and flows and from start to finish. Flowcharts are used in designing and documenting simple processes or program. Explain the various types of flowcharts. A. System outline chart. Merely lists the inputs, files processed and the outputs without considering their sequence. B. System flowchart. The overall view of the data flow and operations of a system, with a diagram drawn logically, and illustrates the correct flow of data or documents. The operations are activities performed, the persons or workstations. It also reflects the relationship between inputs, processing and outputs. C. Run flowcharts. Prepared from the system's flowchart and show the reference of computer operations to be performed. Expand the detail of each computer box on the system flowchart, showing inputs, files, and outputs relevant to each run and the frequency of each run. D. Program flowchart. Diagrammatic representation of the data processing steps to be performed within a computer program, used to translate the elementary steps of a procedure into a program of coded instructions for the computer to operate effectively. Used to depict the scientific, arithmetic and logical operations or steps which must be accomplished to solve the computer application problem. E. Cross-functional flowcharts. Diagrams of business processes, and helps in identifying the role and responsibilities of each department. Business unit. For each part of the overall activity, flowchart is divided into different units, called swim lanes, each representing a particular department, business unit. Activities and processes under the control of that department, business unit, are depicted within that swim lane. All such activities are interconnected to form the overall business process flowchart. Benefits of flowcharts. Advantages of flowcharts. I. Quicker grasp of relationships, elements of the application program, business process must be identified. Flowchart can help depict a lengthy procedure more easily than by describing it by means of written notes. E. Effective analysis. Blueprint of a system that can be broken down into detailed parts for study. Problems may be identified and new approaches may be suggested by flowcharts. E. Communication. The facts of a business problem to those whose skills are needed for arriving at the solution. IV. Documentation. Good documentation which aid greatly in future program conversions. In the event of staff changes, they serve as training function by helping new employees in understanding the existing programs. V. Efficient coding. Guide during the system analysis and program preparation phase. Instructions coded in a programming language may be checked against the flowchart to ensure that no steps are omitted. VI, program debugging. Important tool during program debugging. They help in detecting, locating and removing mistakes. VII, efficient program maintenance. Charts help the programmer to concentrate attention on that part of the information flow which is to be modified. VII, identifying responsibilities identified to functional departments, thereby establishing responsibility of the process owner. Limitations of flowcharts. I. Complex logic. Complex and clumsy where the problem logic is complex. The essentials of what is done can easily be lost in the technical details of how it is done. E. Modification. It may require complete redrawing. E. Reproduction. Reproduction of flowcharts is often a problem because the symbols used in flowcharts cannot be typed. IV. Link between conditions and actions. Sometimes it becomes difficult to establish the linkage between various conditions and the actions to be taken thereupon for a condition. V. Standardization. Program flowcharts, although easy to follow, are not such a natural way of expressing procedures as writing in English, nor are they easily translated into programming language. Flowcharting a business process. 1. Identify the business process to be documented, and its significance and relevance in the context of the entity's business objectives and goals. 2. Obtain a complete understanding of the process flow, in terms of a. Business units, b. Process owners, c. Inputs used, d. Authorization required at various stages, etc. 3. Prepare a rough diagram of the business process from the above, and discuss the same with the business process owner to confirm the understanding. 4. Identify control weaknesses, process deficiencies, duplication of activities, redundant processes, etc., and the corrective measures required to handle them. 5. Establish the finalized list of activities in each process step, and the responsibility levels for each activity. 6. Identify the starting point of the process, i.e. trigger point or input that the business seeks to convert into an output. Generally, triggers, starting points may be a. External events, e.g. sales order by a customer, intimation of due date for filing returns, etc. b. Content arrival, i.e. arrival of a new document or similar content, e.g. preparation and posting of purchase requisition by stores. Department triggers action by the purchase department. C. Human intervention, e.g. rate change, request by a supplier, customer complaints for products, etc. 7. Identify the sub-components or steps of the process and the appropriate symbols thereof. This is called business processing. Modeling notation, BPMN. 8. Identify the business unit, department, person, that is responsible for each step, for creating various swim lanes. 9. Draw the flowchart based on the above linkages and processes, and obtain final approval from the entity. Data flow diagrams, flow of data or information from one place to another. DFDS describe the processes showing how these processes link together through data stores and how the processes relate to the users and the outside world. It is used to I. Document existing systems, and e. Plan and design new systems. DFDS may be partitioned into levels that represent increasing information flow and functional detail. DFDS provide a mechanism for functional modeling as well as information flow modeling. DFD basically provides an overview of a. What data a system process, b. what transformations are performed, c. what data are stored, d. what results are produced and where they flow. It is mainly used by technical staff for graphically communicating between systems analysts and programmers. Risk and its management terminologies related to risk are asset, something of value to the organization, e.g., information in electronic or physical form, software systems, employees. Characteristics: 1. They are recognized to be of value to the organization. 2. They are not easily replaceable without cost. Skill, time, resources or a combination. 3. They form a part of the organization's corporate identity. 4. Their data classification may be proprietary, highly confidential or even top secret. B. Threat. Any entity, circumstance, or event with the potential to harm the software, system or component through its unauthorized access, destruction, modification, and/or denial of service. It has capability to attack on a system with intent to harm. Assets and its are closely correlated. It cannot exist without a target asset. It are typically prevented by applying some sort of protection to assets. C. Vulnerability. Weakness in the system safeguards that exposes the system to threats. It may be a weakness in information system, S. cryptographic system, security systems, or other components, e.g., system security procedures, hardware design, internal controls, that could be exploited by a threat. It potentially allow a threat to harm or exploit the system. Examples of vulnerabilities are given as follows. I. Leaving the front door unlocked makes the house vulnerable to unwanted visitors. E. Short passwords, less than 6 characters, make the automated information system vulnerable to password cracking or guessing. Routines. Vulnerability has at least one of the following conditions. 1. Allows an attacker to execute commands as another user, or 2. Allows an attacker to access data that is contrary to the specified access restrictions for that data, or 3. Allows an attacker to pose as another entity, or 4. Allows an attacker to conduct a denial of service. D. Exposure. Extent of loss the enterprise has to face when a risk materializes. It is not just the immediate impact, but the real harm that occurs in the long run. Example: loss of business, failure to perform the system's mission, loss of reputation, violation of privacy and loss of resources, etc. E. Likelihood. Estimation of the probability that the threat will succeed in achieving an undesirable event. F. Attack. Attempt to gain unauthorized access to the system's services or to compromise the system's dependability. It is a malicious intentional fault, usually an external fault that has the intent of exploiting vulnerability in the targeted software or system. It is a set of actions designed to compromise ICAI, confidentiality, integrity or availability. G. Counter. Measure. Action, device, procedure, technique or other measure that reduces the vulnerability of a component or system. Example: well-known threat, spoofing the user identity, has 2 countermeasures. A. Strong authentication protocols to validate users, and B. Passwords should be stored in some secure location. Similarly, for other vulnerabilities, Different countermeasures may be used. Risk. Uncertain event that may result in loss for an organization. Any uncertain event that may result in significant deviation from planned objective, resulting in negative consequences. It is the potential harm caused if a threat exploits a particular vulnerability to cause damage to an asset. Sources of risks are commercial and legal relationship. B. Economic circumstance. C. Human behavior. D. Natural event. E. Political circumstance. F. Technology and technical issue. G. Management activities and control characteristics of risk. A. Potential loss exists due to threat, vulnerability. B. Uncertainty of loss expressed in terms of probability of loss. Immediate direct financial loss as well as loss due to its impact in the long run, like loss of reputation and business, approximately. Loss. C. Probability, likelihood of that threat attacking the organization, system. Percent. Types of risks. Business risks. Any event or circumstances related to business goals. It face all kinds of risks ranging from serious loss of profits to even bankruptcy. A. Strategic risk. Prevents achieving its strategic objectives, e.g. risk related to strategy. Global market condition like recession. B. Financial risk. Results in negative financial impact to organization, e.g. volatility of foreign exchange rate, interest rate, liquidity risk, etc. C. Regulatory, compliance risk. Expose organization to fines and penalties due to non-compliance with laws, e.g. violation of law. W. R. T. Taxation, environment, employee health. D. Operational risk. Prevent organization from operating in most effective and efficient capacity, e.g. risk of loss resulting from inadequate or failed internal processes, fraud or any criminal activity by an employee, etc. E. Hazard risk. Risks that are insurable, e.g. nature disaster, asset impairment, terrorism, etc. F. Residual risk. Risks remaining even after countermeasures are applied. All risk can't be eliminated. It should be minimized and kept at an acceptable low level, i.e. the likelihood of the event occurring or the severity of the consequence is sufficiently reduced so that risk is manageable. Technological risks. BPA is technology-driven, and this dependence on technology has led to various challenges. All risks related to the technology equally apply to BPA. A. Downtime due to technology. Failure. Information system facilities may become unavailable due to technical problems or equipment failure. B. Frequent change or obsolescence of technology. Since technology keeps on evolving and is changing rapidly, there is a risk of obsolescence of tech, resulting in loss. C. Dependence on vendor due to outsourcing of IT service. BPA requires staff with specialized domain skills to manage IT deployed. These services could be outsourced to vendors, and there is heavy dependency on vendors. D. Vendor-related concentration risk. There may not be one but multiple vendors providing different services. For example, network, hardware, system, software and application software services may be provided by different vendors, or these services may be provided by a single vendor. Both these situations result in higher risks due to heavy dependence on vendors. E. External threat, leading to cyber fraud. Crime. If IS can be accessed anytime and anywhere using Internet, there is a risk of fraud. F. Proper alignment of tech with business objectives and legal requirement. Business must ensure it G. Higher impact due to intentional or unintentional act of employee, a weakest link in tech environment. Employees are expected to be trusted individuals that are granted extended privileges, which can easily be abused. H. Need to ensure continuity of business in case of major emergency. Organizations must have well-documented business continuity plan. C. Data-related risks. Third CH. Also, data is often a unique resource. All data and applications are susceptible to disruption, damage and theft. Data-related risks include unauthorized modification of data and software and are discussed below. 1. Data diddling, change in data before or after entering it into system. Limited tech knowledge required. 1. Bomb, malicious code which explodes when logic inside the code is satisfied, causing immediate damage. Can't infect other programs and hence damage is not widespread. Logical bomb. E.g. if turnover reaches 1 crore, delete all data. Time bomb. Explodes at given time. 2. Christmas card. It is a well-known example of Trojan and was detected on internal email of IBM system. On typing the word Christmas, it will draw the Christmas tree as expected, but in addition, it will send copies of similar output to all other users connected to the network. This message on other terminals, other users cannot save their half-finished work. 3. Worm. A worm does not require a host program like a Trojan to relocate itself. Thus, a worm program copies itself to another machine on the network. Since worms are standalone programs, and they can be detected easily in comparison to Trojans and computer viruses. Examples of worms are a alarm clock worm. It places wake-up calls on a list of users. It passes through the network to an outgoing terminal. B. Existential worm. Sole purpose of existential worm is to remain alive. Existential worm does not cause damage to the system, but only copies itself to several places in a computer network. 4. Rounding down involves rounding of small fraction of an amount and transfer this amount to unauthorized A. Circa 5. Salami technique, slicing of small fixed amount of money from computerized transaction and transfer to unauthorized A. C. For example, in the rounding off technique, rupee 21,456.39 becomes 21,456 rupees and 40 paise, while in the salami technique the transaction amount 21,456 rupees and 39 paise is truncated to either 21,456 rupees and 30 paise or 21,456 rupees, depending on the logic. 6. Trap door, back door created by developer to gain access for maintenance. Can be misused by unauthorized users to access software as well. 7. Spoofing involves forging one's source address. One machine is used to impersonate the other and user is made to think that he is interacting with the operating system. 8. Asynchronous attack, data that is waiting to be transmitted is liable to unauthorized access called asynchronous attack. These attacks make use of the timing difference between the time when the data is inputted to the system and the time when it gets processed by the system. Following are its various types. A. Data leakage, leaking of information out of computer by copying data into external devices or printouts. B. Wiretapping, spying on info being transmitted over computer network. C. Subversive attack enables intruders to access data being transmitted and also modify Violate integrity of data. D. Piggybacking act of authorized person through a secured door that intercepts and alters transmissions. Risk management strategies. Response. 5Ts. Identifying. Assessing risk. Taking steps to mitigate, reduce risk to acceptable level based on risk appetite. And monitoring it. Effective risk management involves a. Identifying high-level risk exposure. B. Risk appetite, i.e., ability, willingness of entity to take risk. The unacceptable high levels of risks can be controlled by designing and implementing adequate proactive controls. It is not always appropriate to counter risks by implementing controls because controls involve cost. Based on the type of risk and its significance to the business, board and senior management may choose to take up any of the following risk management strategy in isolation or combination as required. 1. Tolerate, accept minor risk, i.e., where impact or probability of occurrence is low. Management may accept risk as cost of doing business. Thus, no action is taken due to cost-benefit analysis. 2. Terminate, eliminate. If risk is associated with use of a technology, supplier, or vendor, it can be eliminated by replacing tech with more robust products, and by seeking more capable suppliers and vendors. 3. Transfer, share, shared with trading partners and suppliers, e.g. outsourcing of IT infrastructure (MGT). Risk can also be insured. 4. Treat, mitigate. When other options are not feasible, suitable controls must be developed and implemented to prevent risk from occurring, or to minimize its impact. 5. Turn back. Where probability or impact of risk is very low, then management may decide to ignore the risk. Enterprise risk management process, which is applied by BOD, management and other personnel for strategy setting to identify potential event that may affect entity and manage risk within risk appetite to provide reasonable assurance that entity's objective will be achieved. All entities face uncertainty which presents both risk and opportunity, with potential to erode or enhance value. It helps management to effectively deal with uncertainty and associated risk and opportunity and thereby enhance its capacity to build value. It is relevant for every entity, whether for profit, not for profit, or a governmental body. It does not create risk-free environment. Internal environment. Objective set. Identify events which present OT, assess risk, risk response, control, inform and communication, monitor. Framework. Is a risk-based approach that provides a framework of 8 interrelated components for risk management, which involves identifying potential threats or risks, determining how big a threat or risk is, what could be its consequence, its impact, etc. Implementing controls to mitigate the risks. Components of 1. Internal environment. It is foundation for risk management. It involves analysis of organization, entity, people of organization and environment in which it works. 2. Objective setting. Involves setting of objectives in line with vision and mission of management and consistent with risk appetite of entity. 3. Event identification. Includes identifying uncertain events, internal as well as external, which may represent opportunity, risk or both. 4. Risk assessment. Involves analysis in terms of likelihoods of risk and impact on entity. 5. Risk response management selects risk response in line with entity risk tolerance and risk appetite. Higher risk appetite equals higher risk tolerance equals lower risk. Response 6. Control activity. Policies and procedures established to mitigate risk and maintain it at acceptable level. 7. Info and communication. Risk response and controls to be applied are communicated to relevant employee across the entity for carrying out necessary activities for risk management. 8. Monitor entire process. Entire process should be monitored regularly and, if necessary, modified. Benefits of align risk appetite with strategy. Helps in aligning risk appetite with its strategy for achieving goals. B. Link growth, risk and return. Entities accept risk as part of value creation and expect return commensurate with risk taken. C. Minimize operational surprise and losses. Provide advanced ability to identify potential event, assess risk and respond to it. D. Seize opportunity. Enables organization to identify opportunity and take advantage. E. Enhanced risk response decision. Helps to identify and select alternative risk response, i.e. 5 teraseconds. F. Identify and manage cross-enterprise risk. Entity faces various risks. Management needs to manage not only individual risk but also related risk and its interrelated impacts. G. Provide integrated response to multiple risk. Business processes carries inherent risks. Helps to provide integrated solution for managing these risks. Controls policy. Procedures and practices that are designed to provide reasonable assurance that business objectives are achieved, undesired events are prevented, detected or corrected risks are mitigated, assets are safeguarded and efficiency and effectiveness of business processes are achieved. Types of controls. 1. Manual control. Involves physical verification that actual material received is as per PO and it is reflected correctly in vendor's invoice. 2. Automated control. Involves verification that is done automatically by computer system and exceptions highlighted. 3. Semi-automated control. Involves verification that is partly manual and partly automated. E.g. verification of goods received with PO can be automated, but the vendor invoice matching could be done manually in a reconciliation process. Importance of it controls objectives, meaning, statement of desired result or purpose to be achieved by implementing controls within an IT activity. Implementing right type of controls is responsibility of management. It controls helps perform dual role. A. Enables enterprise to achieve objectives, and B. Mitigate risk need for IT controls. A. Control cost and remain competitive. B. To promote reliability and efficiency. C. Makes organization resilient and helps them sustain any disruption in business process. D. Provides policy and guidance for directing and monitoring performance of IT activity to achieve objective, applying it controls. Classification. Types. It general control, ITGC. It is macro in nature and pervades across IT environment and information system in organization. It applies to all systems and processes. It includes 1. IT security policy, right pointing arrow, approved by senior management and covers all systems and process in organization. W. R. T. How to protect a company's information assets. 2. Administration. Authentication and access, right pointing arrow. There should be proper policy for administration of system and authorization of users in IS3 Separation of key IT functions. Right pointing arrow. Org should ensure key demarcation of duties for different personnel within IT department and ensure that there are no segregation of duties conflicts. 4. MGT of system acquisition and implementation. Right pointing arrow. Process of system authorization and implemented should be controlled. 5. Proper development and implementation of app, S, W. 6. Controls to ensure CIA and ACA of S, W and data. 7. Change management. Right pointing arrow. IT system must change with change in business needs and environment or regulatory compliance. Change MGT ensures smooth transition. 8. User training and qualification of operations personnel. Right pointing arrow. It personnel should have necessary skills. 9. Review of SLA with vendors to ensure service are delivered as per SLA. 10. Monitoring of system, app S, W to ensure it functions properly. Application control. Application represents the interface between the user and the business. Functions. It refers to control implemented in an app to prevent, detect and correct errors. These controls are inbuilt in the app and ensures CIA and ACA of data, info. For example, in banking app, withdrawals are not allowed beyond limits, etc. Examples, debts. A. Data edit, i.e., editing of data should be allowed only for permissible field. B. Error reporting, i.e., errors in processing are reported. C. Exception reporting, i.e., all exceptions are reported. D. Balancing of processing. Totals, i.e., debit and credit of all transaction are tallied. E. Transaction logging, i.e., all transactions are identified with unique ID and logged. F. Separation of business function, i.e., authority for transaction initiation and transaction authorization should be with different personnel. Key indicators of effective IT controls. IT controls implemented in an organization are considered to be effective on the basis of following criteria. A. Ability to plan and execute new work like infrastructure upgradation to support new product, service. B. Development projects are delivered on time and within budget, and better product and service offerings compared to competitors. C. Ability to allocate resource predictability. D. Protect against new threats and vulnerability and recover from any disruption. E. Ensure CIA and ACA of data. F. The efficient use of a customer support center or help desk. G. Heightened security awareness among users and security-conscious controls. Framework of internal control as per SA 315. Identifying and assessing the risk of material misstatement by understanding entity and its environment, it as policy, practice and procedure implemented by TCWG and MGT to provide reasonable assurance about achieving entity's objective regarding a reliability of FSB, efficiency and effectiveness of operations. C. Safeguarding of assets. D. Compliance with applicable laws and regulations. Need for IC. Right pointing arrow. It helps organization in ensuring RECS. Note: IC mitigates risk and does not eliminate it. Components of internal control as per SA 315. Control environment, set of standards, process and structure that provides basis for implementing IC. It comprises of integrity and ethical values of org, organizational structure, assignment of authority and RESP, accountability, etc. BOD and senior MGT establish the tone at the top regarding the importance of IC, including expected standards of conduct, risk assessment. It involves a identification of threats and vulnerabilities in the system, and b. its assessment in terms of likelihood and its impact. Risk assessment forms the basis for determining how risks will be managed. Control activities refers to P to A. Mitigate risk and B. Achieve objective. They are performed at all levels of the entity and may be preventive or detective in nature. Includes elements like authorization, approvals, verifications, reco, and business performance reviews that ensure transactions are authorized. B. Duties are segregated. C. Proper records are maintained. D. Assets are safeguarded. However, controls do not eliminate risks completely. Information and communication. It is necessary for entity to collect important info about IC and communicate with employees for implement RT on of IC, internal, b. external parties in response to requirements and expectations. External monitoring of control. It is ongoing and cyclic process of monitoring each of 5 components of IC to ensure it is functioning smoothly. Comprises of ongoing evaluations built into business processes which provide timely information, separate evaluations conducted periodically to assess risks and effectiveness of ongoing evaluations. Findings are evaluated against MGT's criteria and deficiencies are communicated to MGT and BOD as appropriate. Limitations of internal control. Black small square IC provides reasonable assurance and not absolute assurance about achieving entity's objective of RECS. Black small square IC is subject to certain inherent limitations as follows. A. Management consideration that cost of IC should not exceed expected benefit of IC. B. IC is not effective in case of transaction of unnatural nature, e.g. human error due to carelessness. C. Possibility of circumvention of IC through collusion with employees and other party. D. Possibility of abuse of IC by person responsible for exercising ICAI. E. Director, TCWG. E. Manipulation by management. W. R. T. Transactions, estimates and judgments required in preparation of FS risks and controls for specific business processes. J.K. Shah. Notes configuration. Black small square way a software system is set up. Configuration is the methodical process of defining options that are provided during system setup. Black small square it defines how SW will function and what options are displayed. Black small square various modules of enterprise like procurement, sale, HR etc. must be configured. Examples 1. User activation and deactivation, defining process for setting up entry to system using user ID and password. 2. Users access and privilege, defining process for access to particular function of app based on role and responsibility. 3. Password management, defining criteria like length of password, use of special characters, frequency of change. 4. Mapping of A, C ledger with transactions like purchase and sales. 5. Control on parameters, creation of customer type, vendor type, year-end process masters. Black small square the way various parameters are set up for all modules of software, like purchase, sales, inventory, and finance. Black small square masters are set up first time during installation and these are changed whenever the business process rules or Parameters are changed. Black small square relatively permanent in nature, i.e., does not change frequently. Example 1. Customer master. Credit limit, bill to address, ship to address 2. Vendor master. Credit period, vendor bank account details, 3. Material master, material type, material. Description. Unit of measure 4. Employee master, employee name, designation, salary. Details. Transactions black small square to the actual transactions entered through menus and functions in an application software, through which all transactions for specific modules are initiated, authorized, or approved. Black small square changes frequently and entered by user. Black small square example. Sale transaction, purchase transaction, journal transaction, payment etc. Sample risk. O2C. Transaction. Amount incorrect. Amount paid. Incorrect period. Incorrect party 1. Recorded by incorrect amount. 2. Recorded in incorrect period. 3. Recorded in incorrect ledger. 4. Amount paid or received is not correct. 5. Amount paid. Received in incorrect period. 6. Amount paid. Received recorded in incorrect party. 6. Business processes. 1. Procure to pay, purchase, process of obtaining and managing room needed for manufacturing a product or providing service. Using automation, it is possible to have a seamless procure to pay process covering the complete life cycle from point of order to payment. Risks and control. O masters. Unauthorized changes to supplier master file. Only valid changes are made to the supplier master file. All valid changes to the supplier master file are not input and processed. All valid changes to the supplier master file are input and processed. Changes to the supplier master file are not correct. Changes to the supplier master file are accurate. Changes to the supplier master file are delayed and not processed in a timely manner. Changes to the supplier master file are processed in a timely manner. Supplier master file data is not up to date. Supplier master file data remains up to date. System access to maintain vendor masters has not been restricted to the authorized users. System access to maintain vendor masters has been restricted to the authorized users. O transactions. Unauthorized purchase requisitions are ordered. Purchase orders are placed only for approved requisitions. Purchase orders are not entered correctly in the system. Purchase orders are accurately entered. Purchase orders issued are not input and processed. All purchase orders issued are input and processed. Amounts for goods or services received are recorded in the wrong period. Amounts for goods or services received are recorded in the appropriate period. All disbursements are not recorded. All disbursements are recorded. System access to process transactions has not been restricted to the authorized users. System access to process transactions has been restricted to the authorized users. Relevant ledger. Accounts payable. Examples of vendor master data file. A. Name B. Contact details C. Address D. Bank details E. GSTINF. Credit period and limit 2. Order to cash. Sale. Black small square process of receiving order and fulfilling the order of customers' required goods and services. Steps. Sub-process involved. A. Customer order. Right pointing arrow. Customer order received is documented. B. Order fulfillment. Right pointing arrow. Order is fulfilled or service is scheduled. C. Delivery note. Right pointing arrow. Order is shipped to customer or service is performed. D. Invoicing right pointing arrow invoice is created and sent to customer E. Collection from customer right pointing arrow customer sends payment, collection F. Accounting right pointing arrow. Payment is recorded in general ledger. Relevant ledger. Accounts receivable risks and controls O masters. The customer master file is maintained properly and the information is not accurate. The customer master file is maintained properly and the information is accurate. Invalid changes are made to the customer master file. Only valid changes are made to the customer master file. All valid changes to the customer master file are not input and processed. All valid changes to the customer master file are input and processed. Changes to the customer master file are not accurate. Changes to the customer master file are accurate. Changes to the customer master file are not processed in a timely manner. Changes to the customer master file are processed in a timely manner. Customer master file data is not up to date and relevant. Customer master file data is up to date and relevant. System access to maintain customer masters has not been restricted to the authorized users. System access to maintain customer masters has been restricted to the authorized users. O transactions orders are processed exceeding customer credit limits without approvals. Orders are processed only within approved customer credit limits. Invoices are recorded in the wrong period. Invoices are recorded in the appropriate period. Credit notes issued are not recorded in the system. All credit notes issued are recorded. Cash receipts data are not entered correctly. Cash receipts data are entered for processing accurately. Cash discounts are not accurately calculated and recorded. Cash discounts are accurately calculated and recorded. System access to process transactions has not been restricted to the authorized users. System access to process transactions has been restricted to the authorized users. Examples of customer master data file are name B, contact details C, address D, bank details E, GSTINF, credit period and limit 3, inventory cycle. Black small square process of accurately tracking the on-hand inventory level for an enterprise, measured in number of days. 3 phases involved are ordering phase. Right pointing arrow time required to order and receive room. B. Production phase. Right pointing arrow time taken to convert room into finished goods ready for use by customer. C. Finished goods and delivery. Right pointing arrow. Finished goods that remains in stock and delivery time to customer. Risks and controls. O masters. Invalid changes are made to the inventory management master file. Only valid changes are made to the inventory management master file. Invalid changes to the inventory management master file are input and processed. All valid changes to the inventory management master file are input and processed. Changes to the inventory management master file are not accurate. Changes to the inventory management master file are accurate. Changes to the inventory management master file are not promptly processed. Changes to the inventory management master file are promptly processed. Inventory management master file data is not up to date. Inventory management master file data remain up to date. System access to maintain inventory masters has not been restricted to the authorized users. System access to maintain inventory masters has been restricted to the authorized users. O transactions adjustments to inventory prices or quantities are not recorded accurately. Adjustments to inventory prices or quantities are recorded accurately. Raw materials are received and accepted without valid purchase orders. Raw materials are received and accepted only if they have valid purchase orders. Raw materials received are not recorded accurately. Raw materials received are recorded accurately. Raw materials received are not recorded in system. All raw materials received are recorded. Costs of shipped inventory are not accurately recorded. Costs of shipped inventory are accurately recorded. Shipments are not recorded accurately. Shipments are recorded accurately. System access to process inventory-related transactions has not been restricted to the authorized users. System access to process inventory-related transactions has been restricted to the authorized users. Examples of inventory, material management master data file: A. Stock item. B. Stock description. C. Stock group. D. Units of measurement. 4. Human resource. Black small square HR lifecycle refers to HRM and covers all stages of an employee's time within the organization and the role played by HR at each stage. Risks and control configuration. O. Employees who have left the company continue to have system access. O. System access to be immediately removed from employees who leave the company. O. Employees have system access in excess of their job requirements. O. Employees should be given system access based on a need-to-know basis and to perform their job function. Masters. O. Additions to the payroll master files do not represent valid employees. O. Additions to the payroll master files represent valid employees. O. New employees are not added to the payroll master files. O. All new employees are added to the payroll master files. O. Terminated employees are not removed from the payroll master files. O. Terminated employees are removed from the payroll master files. O. Employees are terminated without following statutory requirements. O. Employees are terminated only within statutory requirements. O. Invalid changes are made to the payroll master files. O. Only valid changes are made to the payroll master files. O. Changes to the payroll master files are not accurate. O. Changes to the payroll master files are accurate. O. Payroll master file data is not up to date. O. Payroll master file data remain up to date. O. Payroll is disbursed to inappropriate employees. O. Payroll is disbursed to appropriate employees. O. System access to process employee master changes has not been restricted to the authorized. O. System access to process employee master changes has been restricted to the authorized users. 4 stages involved are recruitment and onboarding. Black small square recruitment process of hiring, which involves placing job ads, selecting candidates, conducting interview and choosing, finalizing, etc. Black small square onboarding process of getting successful applicants set up in organization, ID card, laptop, access and privilege. B. Orientation and career planning. Black small square orientation process by which employee becomes part of company workforce, i.e., learning job, establishing relationship, etc. Black small square career planning. Employee and supervisor work out long-term career goals of employee. C. Career development. It is essential to provide career development opportunity for retaining employee for long-term. D. Termination or transition. Ensure all exit policies are followed. Exit interviews are conducted and employee is removed from system. Examples of employee payroll master data file: A. Employee name. B. Designation. C. Address. D. Gender. E. Salary structure. 5. Fixed assets. Black small square process of ensuring that all FA of enterprise are tracked for purpose of financial accounting. DEP. Preventive maintenance, and theft deterrence. Black small square, it involves maintaining proper details of quantity, type, location, condition and depreciation of asset. 6 steps involved. 1. Procuring an asset. On purchase of an asset, entry is made in a C system when invoice is received. 2. Registering or adding, and for depreciation purpose, details like date of acquisition, type, and asset depreciation basis is registered. 3. Adjusting an asset. Adjustment is required due to repair, improvement, change in basis for depreciation, etc. 4. Transferring an asset to other branches, subsidiaries or department within the organization group. This needs to be reflected accurately in the fixed assets management system. 5. Depreciating an asset. Decline in economic and physical value of asset. It should be properly calculated. 6. Disposing an asset when as asset is no more in use, becomes obsolete or beyond repair, it is disposed of. Any difference between the book value and realized value is reported as a gain or loss, and DEP is no longer charged. Mode of disposal: sale, abandonment or trade in. Black small square examples of FA master data file. A. Type B. Location. C. Depreciation basis risk and control. O. Masters. Invalid changes are made to the fixed asset register and or master file. Only valid changes are made to the fixed asset register and or master file. Valid changes to the fixed asset register and or master file are not input and processed. All valid changes to the fixed asset register and or master file are input and processed. Changes to the fixed asset register and or master file are not accurate. Changes to the fixed asset register and or master file are accurate. Changes to the fixed asset register and or master file are not promptly processed. Changes to the fixed asset register and or master file are promptly processed. Fixed asset register and or master file data are not kept up to date. Fixed asset register and or master file data remain up to date. System access to fixed asset master file system configuration is not restricted to the authorized users. System access to fixed asset master file system configuration is restricted to the authorized users. System configuration pertaining to definition of the depreciation base, depreciation rate, life of asset, and accounting of transactions has not been correctly defined. System configuration pertaining to definition of the depreciation base, depreciation rate, life of asset and accounting of transactions has been correctly defined. O. Transactions. Fixed asset acquisitions are not accurately recorded. Fixed asset acquisitions are accurately recorded. Fixed asset acquisitions are not recorded in the appropriate period. Fixed asset acquisitions are recorded in the appropriate period. Fixed asset acquisitions are not recorded. All fixed asset acquisitions are recorded. Depreciation charges are not accurately calculated and recorded. Depreciation charges are accurately calculated and recorded. Depreciation charges are not recorded in the appropriate period. All depreciation charges are recorded in the appropriate period. Fixed asset disposals, transfers are not recorded. All fixed asset disposals, transfers are recorded. System access to process fixed asset transactions has not been restricted to the authorized users. System access to process fixed asset transactions has been restricted to the authorized users. 6. General ledger. Black small square process of recording the transaction In system to finally generate reports from system. Black small square input for GL right pointing arrow financial transaction black small square. Output for GL right pointing arrow reports like BS, P&L, CFS, ratio analysis etc. 5 steps involved a entering of financial transaction in accounting system B, review of transaction C, approval of transaction D, posting of transaction E, generation of financial report risks and control O configuration. Unauthorized general ledger entries could be passed. Access to general ledger entries is appropriate and authorized system functionality does not exist to segregate the posting and approval functions. System functionality exists to segregate the posting and approval functions. Non-standard journal entries are not tracked and are inappropriate. All non-standard journal entries are tracked and are appropriate. Out-of-balance entries are not prohibited. Out-of-balance entries are prohibited. System controls are not in place for appropriate approval of write-offs. System controls are in place for appropriate approval of write-offs. The sources of all entries are not readily identifiable. The sources of all entries are readily identifiable. Account mappings are not up to date. Account mappings are up to date. O Master's General Ledger Master File. Change reports are not generated by the system and are not reviewed as necessary by an individual who does not input the changes. General Ledger Master File change reports are generated by the system and reviewed as necessary by an individual who does input the changes. A standard chart of accounts has not been approved by management and is not utilized within all entities of the corporation. A standard chart of accounts has been approved by management and is suitably utilized within all entities of the corporation. O transactions entries booked in the close process are not complete and accurate. Entries booked in the close process are complete and accurate. Account codes and transaction amounts are not accurate and not complete, and exceptions are not reported. Account codes and transaction amounts are accurate and complete, with exceptions reported. Interrelated balance sheets and income statement accounts do not undergo automated reconciliation to confirm accuracy of such accounts. Interrelated balance sheets and income statement accounts undergo automated reconciliation to confirm accuracy of such accounts. General ledger balances are not reconciled to sub-ledger balances and such reconciliation are not reviewed for accuracy and not approved by supervisory personnel. General ledger balances reconcile to sub-ledger balances and such reconciliation are reviewed for accuracy and approved by supervisory personnel. Examples of GL master data file. A. Ledger B. Group C. Voucher type regulatory and compliance requirements Section 134, FS, Board's report, etc. Director responsibility statement, DRS, shall state that a. taken sufficient care for maintaining adequate A.C. record for safeguarding asset of company for preventing and detecting fraud and other irregularity. B. In case of listed company, had laid down internal financial control, and that such IFC are adequate, adequacy of design, and operating effectively. Section 143, Powers and duties of auditor and auditing standard. Auditor report shall state whether company has adequate internal financial controls and operating effectiveness of such controls during relevant FY. Example: a company has a sales invoicing control wherein all sales invoices raised by the salesman which is greater than 50,000 Indian rupees per are reviewed and approved by the sales manager. In Terms of the control design. This control may seem adequate. However, if during audit, it was found that during the year, there were many invoices raised by the salesman which was greater than INR 50,000, and not reviewed and approved by the sales manager. In such a case, although the control design was adequate, the control was not working effectively, due to many exceptions without proper approval. Section 134 Management Responsibility Auditor Responsibility Black small square to express an opinion. The effectiveness of CO's internal financial control over Father Black small square a company's IC is said to be effective if there is no material weakness in IC Black small square. No material weakness equals IC is effective. Black small square he should perform audit to obtain sufficient evidence to get reasonable assurance that no material weakness exists in IC Black small square. A material weakness in internal financial controls corporate governance. Black small square CG ensures that company works in best interest of stakeholders, i.e. shareholders, government, society, bank etc. Black small square framework of rules and practice by which BOD ensures accountability, fairness and transparency in CO's relationship with its stakeholders. Black small square CG framework consists of a explicit and implicit contract between company and stakeholders for distribution of rights, responsibilities and rewards. B. Procedure for reconciling conflicting interests of stakeholders with their role. C. Procedure for supervision, control and information flow to serve as checks and balance. Information Technology ACT 2000, amended by 2008 Black small square IT Act covers all Internet activities in India, i.e., all online transaction in India. Black small square it provides validity and legal sanctity to all online, electronic transactions, docs, signature etc. Black small square it also provides penalties and remedies in case of non-compliance and offense. ACT 1. Section 43 Penalty and compensation for damage to computer, computer system, etc. without permission. A. Accesses or secures access to such computer resource. B. Downloads, copies or extracts any data from such computer resource. C. Damages or causes to be damaged any computer resource. D. Disrupts or causes disruption of any computer resource. E. Denies or causes the denial of access to computer resource by auth persons. F. Destroys, deletes or alters any information residing in computer resource. G. Introduces or causes to be introduced virus etc. into any computer resource. H. Steal, conceals, destroys or alters or causes any person to steal, conceal, destroy or alter any computer source code, he shall be liable to pay damages by way of compensation to the persons so affected. 2. Section 43A. Compensation for failure to protect data, where a body corporate, possessing, dealing or handling any sensitive personal data or information in a computer resource which it owns, controls or operates, is negligent in implementing and maintaining reasonable security and thereby causes wrongful loss or wrongful gain to any person, such body corporate shall be liable to pay damages by way of compensation to the persons so affected. Punishments for various computer-related offenses. 1. Section 65. Tampering with computer source documents, listing of programs, computer commands, designs and layout. If a person knowingly or intentionally conceal, destroys or alter or cause other person to conceal, destroys or alter a source code used for a computer resource when source code is required to be kept by law, imprisonment, up to 3 years, or fine, up to 2 lakhs, or both. 2. Section 66, Computer-related offences U.S. 43 imprisonment, up to 3 years, or fine, up to 5 lakhs, or both. 3. Section 66b, Punishment for dishonestly receiving stolen computer resource or communication device if a person dishonestly and knowingly receives or retains stolen computer resources or communication devices, imprisonment, up to 3 years, or fine, up to 1 lakhs, or both. 4. Section 66c, Punishment for identify theft if a person fraudulently make use of electronic signature, password or other identification feature of a person, imprisonment, up to 3 years, and fine, up to 1 lakh 5. Section 66d, Punishment for cheating by personation by using computer resource if a person cheats by personation using any computer resource, imprisonment, up to 3 years, and fine, up to 1 lakh 6. Section 66e, Punishment for violation of privacy if a person intentionally or knowingly captures, publishes or transmits the image of a private area of any person without his or her consent, imprisonment, up to 3 years, or fine, up to 2 lakhs, or both. 7. Section 66f, Punishment for cyber terrorism, threaten the unity, integrity, security or sovereignty of India or to strike terror in the people or any section of the people by I. Denying or cause the denial of access to any person authorized to access computer resource, or e. Attempting to penetrate or access a computer resource without authorization or exceeding authorized access, or e. Introducing or causing to introduce any computer contaminant, and by means of such conduct, imprisonment, may extend to imprisonment for life. A. Causes or is likely to cause death or injuries to persons or damage to or destruction of property or disrupts, or b. Knowing that it is likely to cause damage or disruption of supplies or services essential to the life of the community or adversely affect the critical information infrastructure specified under Section 70, or c. Knowingly or intentionally penetrates or accesses a computer resource without authorization or exceeding authorized access, and by means of such conduct obtains access to information, data or computer database that is restricted for reasons of the security of the state or foreign relations, which may be used to cause or likely to cause injury to the interests of the sovereignty and integrity of India, the security of the state, friendly relations with foreign states, public order, decency or morality, or in relation to contempt of court, defamation, or incitement to an offense, or to the advantage of any foreign nation, group of individuals or otherwise, commits the offense of cyber terrorism. 8. Section 67. Punishment for publishing or transmitting obscene material in electronic form. Whoever publishes or transmits or causes to be published or transmitted in the electronic form any material which is lascivious or appeals to the prurient interest, or if its effect is such as to tend to deprave and corrupt persons who are likely to read, see or hear the matter contained or embodied in it, on first conviction imprisonment, up to 3 years and fine, up to 5 lakh rupees, on second or subsequent conviction imprisonment, up to 5 years and fine, up to 10 lakh rupees. 9. Section 67A. Punishment for publishing or transmitting of material containing sexually explicit act, etc. in electronic form. Whoever publishes or transmits or causes to be published or transmitted in the electronic form any material which contains sexually explicit act or conduct, on first conviction imprisonment, up to 5 years and fine, up to 10 lakh rupees, on second or subsequent conviction imprisonment, up to 7 years and fine, up to 10 lakh rupees. 10. Section 67B. Punishment for publishing or transmitting of material depicting children in sexually explicit act, etc. in electronic form. Whoever a. publishes or transmits or causes to be published or transmitted material in any electronic form which depicts children engaged in sexually explicit act or conduct, or b. creates text or digital images, collects, seeks, browses, downloads, advertises, promotes, exchanges or distributes material in any electronic form depicting children in obscene or indecent or sexually explicit manner, or c. cultivates, entices or induces children to online relationship with one or more children for and on sexually explicit act or in a manner that may offend a reasonable adult on the computer resource, or d. facilitates abusing children online, e. records in any electronic form own abuse or that of others pertaining to sexually explicit act with children. Note. And quot. Children and quot. Means a person who has not completed the age of 18 years, on first conviction imprisonment, up to 5 years and fine, up to 10 lakh rupees, on second or subsequent conviction imprisonment, up to 7 years and fine, up to 10 lakh rupees. Note. Exception Section 67, 67A, 67B does not extend to any book, pamphlet, paper, writing, drawing, painting, representation or figure in electronic form, i. the publication of which is proved to be justified as being for the public good on the ground that these are in the interest of science, literature, art or learning or other objects of general concern, or e. which is kept or used for bona fide heritage or religious purposes. Objectives of cyber law. Advantages. Why ICAI was enacted. Handling cybercrime. 1. Legal recognition for transactions carried out by means of electronic data interchange or electronic commerce in place of paper-based method of communication. Section 4. 2. Legal recognition to digital signature for authentication of any information or matter, which requires authentication under any law. Section 3. 3. Facilitate electronic filing of documents with government departments. Section 6. 4. The Act now allows government to issue notification on the web, thus heralding e-governance. 5. To facilitate electronic storage of data. 6. To provide legal sanction to transfer fund electronically to and between banks and financial institutions. 7. To provide legal recognition for keeping books of account in electronic format by bankers. Section 4. 8. To provide legal infrastructure to promote e-commerce and secure information system. 9. To manage cyber crimes at national and international levels by enforcing laws. 10. The corporates get statutory remedy in case their computer systems, data or network get damaged by intruders. The Act allows remedy in the form of monetary damages not exceeding 1 Indian rupee crore. Computer-related offense. Cyber crime is not different than the traditional crime. The only difference is that in cybercrime, the computer technology is involved and thus it is a computer-related crime. 1. Harassment using fake public profile on social networking site. Fake profile of a person is created with correct name and address, but she is labeled as prostitute or a person of loose character. This leads to harassment of the victim. Section 67 applicable. Here. 2. Email account hacking. Victim's email account is hacked and obscene emails are sent to people in victim's address book. Sections 43, 66, 66A, 66C, 67, 67A and 67B of IT Act, 2000 are applicable. 3. Credit card fraud. Unsuspecting victims use infected computers to make online transactions. Sections 43, 66, 66C, 66D of IT Act, 2000 are applicable in this case. 4. Web defacement. Homepage of a website is replaced with defamatory post or pornographic material. Sections 43 and 66 of IT Act, 66F and 67 of IT Act, 2000 also apply in some cases. 5. Introducing virus, worms, bombs and Trojan. Sections 43 and 66 applicable in this case. 6. Cyber terrorism. Terrorism conducted in cyberspace, where the criminals attempt to damage or disrupt computer systems or telecommunication services. Examples are hacking into computer systems, introducing viruses to vulnerable networks, website defacing, denial of service attacks. Sections 43, 66, 66A. Applicable in this case. 7. Online sale of illegal articles which involves sale of drugs, narcotics, weapons and through internet. 8. Cyber pornography. It's legal in few countries but child pornography is illegal across world. Sections 67, 67A and 67B applicable in this case. 9. Phishing and email scams involves fraudulently acquiring PIN, password-sensitive info through pretending, masquerading itself as a trusted entity. Sections 66, 66C and 66D applicable in this case. 10. Theft of confidential information. Confidential information is stored in computer systems and this information is targeted by rivals, criminals and disgruntled employees. Sections 43, 66 and 66B. Applicable in this case. 11. Source code theft. It is most critical part of SW and regarded as crown jewel, asset of company. Sections 43, 65, 66 and 66B applicable in this case. Privacy of online data. Main principle on data protection and privacy under IT Act are a. Defining data, information, computer database etc. B. Creating civil liability if any person accesses or attempts to secure access to computer system and computer network. C. Blank. Criminal liability. Blank. D. Declaring any computer system or computer network as protected. E. Imposing penalty for breach of confidentiality and privacy. F. Setting up hierarchy of regulatory authority, namely adjudicating authority, appellate authority. Sensitive personal data. Information. Personal data. Info. Relating to natural person which, directly, indirectly, is capable of identifying such person. Section 43A of IT Act prescribes SPDI Rules 2011 which defines A data protection framework for processing of digital data by body corporate. SPDI. Rule 3. A. Password. B. Financial info. C. Mental, physical health condition. D. Medical record. E. Biometric. And F. Sexual orientation. Scope of SPDI applies on body corporate which include firm, sole proprietor or other association of individuals engaged in commercial and profession activities. Excludes a. Government bodies and individuals using big data. B. Others having no access to big data. Rule 5. Consent to collect. Body corporate shall obtain consent in writing from provider of SPDI, before collecting SPDI, about usage of such data. Rule 6. Consent to disclose. Disclosure of SPDI by body corporate to any third party requires permission from provider of SPDI. No permission required if such disclosure is necessary for compliance with legal obligation. Such disclosure has been agreed to in Contract B, W. Body corporate and provider of SPDI.